Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of your Introduction to Pharmacy Software course. This is Sarah Davis, your instructor. I wanted to start off here in Canvas to just point out a few things to you. If you haven't had a chance to get in here yet and look at things, please make sure you do that right away. There's a lot of great information in here. One of the most important things you're going to find are these videos. And when you go down in the module and you look, for example, at week 2, you're going to find this video under the From the Instructor section. So when you click here, you'll see a link directly to this video. The other thing I wanted to point out is the chapter readings. For those of you who may not have your textbook yet, this is where you can go to actually download the book. Now, I realize that it won't provide you with the software, but it will at least give you a chance to get things started. Okay, it'll give you a place to go to get started. So let me just, oops, that's a little big. Let me make this a little bit more readable for you guys. And just point out to you that this is chapter 2. So this is what we are covering in week 2 is chapter 2. One of the most important things in this chapter is the very last 2 sentences of this opening page. It says, if you receive information that you suspect or know is incorrect, you must check with the pharmacist. In no case should you change it yourself. And that's very true for just about anything that you're going to be doing in the pharmacy. If it's not something that you are allowed to do legally, you must get direction from the pharmacist before you do anything. So it's very important that you make sure that you are aware of what you can and cannot do within the scope of your job. Also, keep in mind, depending on what state you work in, you're going to have different things that you can and cannot do. So some states can do more than others. So you need to be very familiar with that. And once you take your law course, you're going to know a little bit more about what things you can and cannot do. One of the biggest things, though, is to counsel a patient. Anytime a patient asks something like, well, what would you suggest for such and such? Or how do I, whatever. A lot of those types of questions cannot be answered by a technician. They have to be answered by the pharmacist. So if at any point you're not sure, check with your pharmacist. It's always a good rule of thumb, especially as you're learning. So back to the course. Again, when we go into the module section, you'll see the announcements for this week. You can click on that. You can also see this week's objectives. So this will kind of give you a quick summary of what we're going to be doing in week 2. It's going to talk about some of those things that you should also focus on when you get ready to take your exam for week 2, or your quiz, I should call it, I guess. And then the other thing I wanted to point out to you is your assignment. Your assignment is taking screenshots of specific things in the chapters. So, for example, this week we're going to be in chapter 2. We're going to be printing the final screen for each of these 3 exercises. You're going to post them or paste them all into a Word document. Save everything in one single Word document and then upload that Word document. So let's take a quick look at the software itself. And let me just minimize my screen here and move this so you guys can see everything. Some of you expressed some concerns when you got to this part of your computer screen that you didn't really know what you should do. So it's really, 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 really important that you read all the directions, okay? And in the pharmacy, that is probably one of the most important things that you can do. So before starting this, you needed to make sure that you read the introduction in the textbook. And it goes through and talks about how to install the program. And it also goes through and tells you what to put for RPH and what to put for tech. So for RPH, you can put either my initials or just RPH. So you could put SD or SLD. I am just going to write in tech, since obviously my initials would be the same as the RPH. And then excuse me. And then under password, I had a lot of questions about this. What do I enter for my password? I don't know what my password is. Well, if you look on page XVII in the textbook, it'll tell you the password is RPH, all lowercase. And then we're going to click the next button. Okay. And enter. Okay, now some of you have been concerned about this as well. Don't worry about this license expired. Just hit OK, and you're going to go ahead and move on. Again, it's going to tell you again, it's expired. Just hit OK. Okay, it's not a problem. It's just part of the program. Okay, don't worry about that. Now, once you are in here, for last week, we were working with the patient screen. So that was over here under PT screen. And so you were able to go in and enter some of these patients. As you got to a patient, you were supposed to then screenshot it. Let's say I was working with William Cakesmith. At this point, I'd screenshot it and then paste it into my Word doc. If you don't know how to do a screenshot, it depends on your computer. So let me know what kind of operating system you're using, and I'll be happy to walk you through that piece. This week, however, we are working on doctors. So since we're working on entering physician information, we want to go to the doctor screen. So I really like the fact that they have Dr. Marcus Welby, MD. Obviously, that shows my age, but any of you who are older, this was a really famous show on TV years and years ago, and that's where they got that name. So that's the first one that they've got in here, and then they're going to walk you through the steps to enter a new patient. A new doctor. So you're going to enter every single doctor on exercise 1 that starts on page 20 and goes through page 22. So you're going to actually have 6 screenshots for this week just for exercise 1. And then it says in exercise 2 to select at least 6 physicians in your area, look up the information for each of them, and then print out the information on each physician. Now you can do that a couple of different ways. If you would like to just type it into the Word document, that's probably the easiest way. You can handwrite it right onto that document, onto a piece of paper, and upload that if you take a picture of it. But probably just typing it into that same Word doc where you copied and pasted the first stuff is probably the easiest way to do it, so that it's all in the same spot. And then exercise 3 is going to just be a short answer question. And again, you're just going to put it with everything else. So you're just going to put it underneath everything else on that same Word document. So as you're going through this week's material, if you have any problems or questions, please make sure that you're reaching out to me, and have a great week.